Welcome back to the quarterfinals match of GP Caracas, and this time we have Elmikkino versus Scribbl. And Scribbl's on play due to seed. So Scribbl is on black-red Attrition, using Man Inferno from the new set. So their deck is trying to use Ambitious Necromancer along with discard spells in order to reanimate creatures in the graveyard, and they're also running Dust Lieutenant to take advantage of the discard. Scribble Flame Binder is a way for Scribble to dump creatures into the graveyard for Ambitious Necromancer to reanimate. They're also running Fiery Temper. So yeah, a deck that tries to discard cards from both sides of the field. Meanwhile, Elmikkino is on black-red burn. Pretty self-explanatory what the deck does. You're just playing the most efficient burn spells you can find. It's also a Hugo deck. Hugo in this scenario is quite good because, for example, Elmikkino managed to swap a land out for Hugo. And Scribble goes for turn 1 Valdez, taking low. So Elmikkino gets a choice of what to discard, and they discard Unjust Sentence, which is least efficient option. But notably, they discarded Unjust Sentence over Rogar's Gambit, so maybe Elmikkino values using Rogar's Gambit as removal, because otherwise discarding Unjust Sentence over Rogar's Gambit is a weird decision. Elmikkino gets the turn 1 shock fetch into Painland, called Axelier, swing for 3. Basically, one of the best turn 1s that Burn can get. And Scribble draws Stolen Secrets. So Scribble can play turn 2 Profane Emissary, but then they risk Elmikkino killing the Profane Emissary before Profane Emissary can fetch a Pile of Pools and turn it into a life-linking 4/4. So maybe Scribble is going to play a bit slower and just play Stolen Secrets plus Cerebral Flamebinder before dropping Profane Emissary. And then they can use Cerebral Flamebinder to chump the Cult Axelier. The Profane Emissary is a really good card against Burn because it becomes a life-linking 4/4. But one of the problems with the card is that if you don't have Pile of Pools in play, then Profane Emissary has to survive the one turn as a 2/2 before it can fetch out the Pile of Pools and turn into a 4/4. Scribble going to play Stolen Secrets, naming Creature, and to snag the Hugo, I guess. And yeah, they're going to play Stolen Secrets and then Cerebral Flamebinder to block. So Elmikkino can't self-enable the Cult Axelier this turn, but they do have Fire Burst Scribble's face in order to turn it into a 3/3. And they're also going to Rogar's Gambit to a Flamebinder to kill it and clear away for Cult Axelier. Elmikkino's not going to cast Fire Burst for its reduced cost in order to enable Cult Axelier this turn. Instead, they're just going to swing for 1. So they're holding up Fire Burst for something. What can they be holding Fire Burst for? I guess they're really afraid of Ambitious Necromancer coming down. Well, no, that doesn't work either, because if Scribble has an Ambitious Necromancer plus a discard spell, Elmikkino doesn't have priority between Scribble playing down the Ambitious Necromancer and then discard spell. So they can't prevent the Ambitious Necromancer trigger with a Fire Burst. So I guess Elmikkino is just holding Fire Burst for no good reason. I guess they want to prevent Scribble from drawing a card, or maybe they're trying to combo with Rogar's Gambit, because Elmikkino determined that they don't have enough spells in hand currently, so they want to save Fire Burst for when they can reprise Rogar's Gambit onto it. Scribble's going to play Stolen Secrets, and is Elmikkino going to Fiery Burst in response? So they're not going to Fire Burst in response, and Stolen Secrets snags the Rogar's Gambit. So Scribble can't play down the Profane Emissary, but just gets killed by Fire Burst, reprising Rogar's Gambit. I guess they're still going to do it anyways, just to make Elmikkino use a removal spell. Because now Elmikkino gets a really good turn. They play down Mountain, they play Fire Burst, making the opponent draw, and then reprise the Rogar's Gambit to kill the Profane Emissary. And then Scribble's board is clear, and Cult gets to swing for 3. And yeah, that's a play Elmikkino's going to go with. So Scribble's hoping to draw something good off Fire Burst. They draw another discard spell, which isn't useful right now. So Scribble either needs to draw a removal spell, or I guess if they draw a land, they can play down Valdez as a blocker. Not what you want to be doing as Valdez. You usually want to be attacking with a 5/3 haster, but Valdez will function as a blocker for Cult. They draw a land, but it's a shock fetch, so I guess they have to decide whether they want to take 2 damage now so that they can play down Valdez as a blocker, or whether they just want to take 1 damage or possibly 3 damage from Cult Axelier. Elmikkino, or does Scribble know that Elmikkino is holding a land? I forgot when they last hand attacked, but there's a chance that Scribble is afraid that Elmikkino is holding a burn spell. And it seems like Scribble doesn't know Elmikkino is holding a land, so they're going to Stolen Secrets and get nothing. So now Scribble is forced to play a land tapped, and Elmikkino is going to get one turn to do whatever. But they draw a land, so not what they wanted to draw there. And now Scribble gets the opportunity to play down Valdez next turn. Elmikkino still deciding to hold the lands in hand. I guess bluff. Well, I mean, Scribble knows that one of the cards in their hand is a land, so I don't think Elmikkino needed to hold back the first mountain. So Scribble playing down Valdez as a blocker. Or are they swinging? Oh no, they can't swing because, right, Elmikkino's holding mountains in hand to turn off Valdez. And there's Suitor of the Sea, which still isn't a spell that can be reprised onto. Elmikkino really wants to draw a spell so that they can reprise Rogar's Gambit onto it. So Elmikkino plays down Suitor of the Sea. And Scribble draws Dust Lieutenant. So Dust Lieutenant actually it won't force a discard right away. So Scribble can just play down other creatures and they'll function decently well as blockers for Elmikkino's stuff. Elmikkino, they have they can hope to draw spells, but they keep drawing lands. That's very unfortunate for them. If they drew a burn spell there, then it would have been in business because they could use the burn spell plus Rogar's Gambit to knock Scribble down to 1 life, and then Scribble would need to find a way to kill Suitor. I guess even now they still have the option. Well, no, they have Parasitic Rebirth, so Scribble gets to kill Suitor of the Sea, and Elmikkino needs to top deck 2 burn spells in a row to win. The thing for Scribble, the play is a pretty obvious Parasitic Rebirth the Suitor of the Sea, and then bring back Profane Emissary. And if Elmikkino doesn't deal with the Profane Emissary next turn, then Scribble fetches Polyp Pools and wins. Scribble decides to fetch, or decides to bring back Cerebral Flamebinder instead. Or, oh wait, right, because they bring back Cerebral Flamebinder with Parasitic Rebirth, and then bring back Profane Emissary with Ambitious Necromancer. And that's a huge board swing, and I don't think Elmikkino can they top deck out a bit? And I don't think so, because basically burn caps out at 3 damage per card, usually. And with Rogar's Gambit, that increases it to 5 damage per card, so I don't think Elmikkino can top deck a single card that would allow them to win. And then since... Actually, how close is Scribble to lethal? Because if Elmikkino draws Burn Spell, points it at Scribble's face, and then uses the reprised Rogar's Gambit to kill the Profane Emissary, then maybe Elmikkino can hope to top deck a Burn Spell next turn. Either way, I think Elmikkino is better served using Cult Axlinger as a chump blocker, because they're definitely not going to swing through anymore, and Elmikkino is just hoping to kill Scribble before Scribble kills Elmikkino. Scribble can swing for 11 next turn, assuming... Well, no. They can swing for 9 next turn, assuming Profane Emissary gets dealt with. And Elmikkino draws Rapacious Rattler, which is quite a good draw. Well, not really, because... Well, it does deal with Profane Emissary plus another creature, and also blocks, so... Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good draw. Probably going to use it to kill Profane Emissary plus Ambitious Necromancer, but they're gonna ping Scribble. Okay, so by doing that, Elmikkino wins if they draw a burn spell. And Scribble top deck Valdez, which isn't useful. They can loot with the Omen though, and they're probably going to do that. Or, right, they can also use Valdez's Adventure to trigger Ambitious Necromancer and bring Profane Emissary back. So Scribble sees that Elmikkino has a handful of lands. So they get to breathe a sigh of relief that Elmikkino is relying on top decking, but at the same time, I think Scribble probably already figured that Elmikkino was top decking because they had to win, they would have played it way earlier. And yeah, Scribble passes and just has to hope Elmikkino draws badly, and Elmikkino draws 4 lands in a row in a burn deck, which is extremely unfortunate. And now they lose this game probably, because they have no way of killing Profane Emissary, and once Profane Emissary becomes a 4 life linker and gets to swing in, then the game's pretty much over. So yeah, this game basically just came down to top deck luck. And it seems like Elmikkino is not the lucky one here. Scribble, end of turn, uses Cerebral Flamebinder to shoot Elmikkino for 2, and well, that's still not lethal for Scribble because Rapacious Rattler blocks, but wait, Scribble forgets to... Well, okay, never mind, they can just Profane Emissary. Or they can just use the Omen to loot and then use Profane Emissary then. They also force to discard with Dust Lieutenant that way. So yeah, I don't think Elmikkino has a way of coming back from this. Hollow Pool comes down, and Profane Emissary becomes a 4/4 lifelinker. And Scribble decides to swing with 3 creatures. Elmikkino can go off one of the attackers, but the main problem for Elmikkino is that Profane Emissary has lifelink, so Scribble's going to gain back all that life and put them out of lethal range. Elmikkino fetching before they draw, and they draw another land, but it wouldn't have mattered anyways. I guess it's just to rub in the bad luck a bit more. So post board, Scribble has Hungering Cult, which is their burn hate of choice in their deck. I think that's probably all they're bringing in. Dawson's Negotiations might also be decent because kills one burns creatures and also forces burn to discard afterwards, but it might be a bit too slow. So Hungering Cult definitely comes in. Not sure on any of the other cards. On Burn's side, they definitely want to bring in more Rapacious Rattlers. Maybe Rage of the Ravage, because they know that Scribble's bringing in Hungering Cult, so Rage of the Ravage against Hungering Cult is pretty good. And past that, Fork Pillar also kills Scribble's creatures. I think that's mostly it. Back for game 2, and Scribble gets a hand full of Mana Infernos and a Hungering Cult, so they're definitely keeping this just so that they have their turn 2 Hungering Cult. Although the problem is that all their Lava Torn Fields come to play tapped. They also drew the Polyp Pool, so they don't have to risk playing down Emissary as a 2/2. Elmikkino gets a hand with turn 3 Rage of the Ravage, so probably keeping, though. Yeah, they keep a hand and swap Hugo with a land. So yeah, that's probably one of the best use cases of First Mate in Burn. If you draw a land heavy hand, then you can swap out one of the lands for a 2-drop threat. The problem with Elmikkino's hand is that they don't really have anything beyond that, but at the same time, Scribble doesn't have a way to deal with Rage of the Ravaged. And hilariously enough, Rage of the Ravage is really good against Hungering Cult because you play down Hungering Cult, and then your opponent plays down Rage of the Ravage, and suddenly Hungering Cult's killing your own creatures for no good reason. Elmikkino starts and plays down Rousing Rebel tapped. And Scribble draws Stolen Secrets. Unfortunately, they can't play it turn 1 because Lava Torn Fields comes to play tapped. And I think Elmikkino is just going to go for turn 2 Hugo. And yeah, they play on Hugo. Now Scribble gets a choice of whether to play down in Polyp Pool so that they can play Hungering Cult on turn 2, or whether they play down Lava Torn Fields tapped so that they can play Stolen Secrets. So Scribble knows that Rage of Ravage is a thing in this matchup. So are they going to have to foresight to Stolen Secrets, naming Enchantment out of all things, just for a chance to hit Rage of the Ravaged? Because if Scribble plays Stolen Secrets and matches to snag Rage of the Ravaged from Elmikkino's hand, then suddenly the match is in Scribble's favor. But if they don't do that, then now Scribble is facing down a Rage of the Ravaged that they can't kill. And Scribble decides to not go for the high roll of trying to hit Rage. And then, in fact, they name creature and Elmikkino doesn't even have a creature. So yeah, they just whiff on the Stolen Secrets and Elmikkino gets to drop a turn 3 Rage of the Ravaged. And now I think the game is in Elmikkino's court, because Scribble has to fight through a Rage of Ravage, have to fight through a burn deck while not having any life gain up. But on the bright side, Scribble, Elmikkino doesn't have that much burn in hand. They have 2 burn spells and then another Rage of Ravage. So Scribble going to Valdez to take the other Rage. At least, well, they don't know about Rage, but they might Valdez anyways, just to take something. Either way, Hungering Cult is a lot worse now that Rage of Ravage is down. And Scribble plays Mana Inferno evoked, using it to discard Fiery Temper and kill the Hugo. Unfortunately, they're going to get pinged by Rage of the Ravaged each time they cast something. And Scribble even draws another Hungering Cult, a horrible card currently, although they can just keep discarding it to Mana Inferno. So looking at the current situation, Elmikkino might just want to play down another Rage of the Ravage, and that Scribble is even more pressured to not do anything. And Elmikkino just waits until they draw enough land so that they can start swinging in with Rousing Rebel. Because the Rousing Rebel protected by 2 of Rage of the Ravage is really hard for Scribble to deal with. Or actually, I feel like this turn they can just go Magmatic Torrent, sack for a basic, play Searing Grace. It costs 1 because you've activated Magmatic Torrent's ability. And then you play Rage of the Ravage afterwards and lock down the board. Instead, they're going to play No Good Gun Pointer Adventure. So they pay 2 mana to deal 3 damage, and Elmikkino doesn't even gain a life because Rage of the Ravaged prevents life gain from both players. So that's a really weird play, honestly. And then they follow up with Basat Charm. So I wonder why they're delaying the second Rage of the Ravaged. Does Elmikkino want to play down all of their play out all of their spells before playing down the second Rage of the Ravaged? I feel like if Elmikkino play down the second Rage, then even if they are taking 2 from each spell, Scribbl is also taking 2 from each spell, and Scribbl taking damage is way more detrimental than Elmikkino taking damage. Anyway, Scribbl plays Valdez. Well, naming high or low doesn't matter. Elmikkino can just discard the Searing Grace, because I'm pretty sure Elmikkino wants to keep his. No, they're gonna discard the second Rage of the Ravaged. So I guess Elmikkino sees Rage of the Ravaged as just a way to prevent life gain. They don't really value the second Rage of the Ravaged because, well, Madden Inferno comes down to 2/2, and now the race is on because now Scribbl has a clock too. Elmikkino can just use No Good Gun Pointer to block it. But yeah, if I was Elmikkino, then I would have definitely tried to play down the second Rage or keep the second Rage of Ravage in hand and play it down. So Elmikkino is probably looking to end of turn Searing Grace, Scribbl's face. Scribble's still not actually drawing anything that good. They have the 2 Hungering Cult stuck in hand. Well, Scribble can swing with Mad Inferno, but Elmikkino's probably not blocking there. And Scribble burn Elmikkino out. So they play Mad Inferno, and then, well, Fiery Temper, they don't have a way to discard it. The Scribble might just want to play down Mad Inferno and then swing, because once Rage of Ravage is down, the game basically just becomes a race. And if Scribble stays back, then they're not winning the race. Yeah, you play down second Mad Inferno, and then you swing with both, and Elmikkino down to 6, and then play down Sarita Flamebinder, and then next turn you have Sarita plus Fiery Temper and to hopefully kill. Or I guess, yeah, you can play down Sarita first, and then swing with Mad Inferno, and now if Elmikkino lets Mad Inferno through, then suddenly Fiery Temper is coming out. And even if Elmikkino doesn't let it through, then Mad Inferno leaves the battlefield and our main team voices Scribble, and then Fiery Temper is still coming out from that. Elmikkino does decide to block, probably figuring that they just have to stay ahead in the race. The Fiery Temper comes out and hits Elmikkino in the dome for 3 damage. Elmikkino's down to 7 life. Scribble's also down to 7 life. But Scribble's actually ahead in board right now, right? Or at least after they played the second Madden Inferno. Yeah, they probably should have played the second Madden Inferno pre-combat so that they could have swung in with an extra creature. I guess they were hoping to draw something from the Madden Inferno loot that they could play that's better than the second Madden Inferno, but they don't really get it. Well, they have Valdez, but Scribble knows that Elmikkino has Searing Grace in hand, so if they Valdez, Scribble just Searing Graces in response. So looking at the game right now, I feel like the turn that Elmikkino lost their lead was when they played No Good Gun Pointer Adventure for no good reason, instead of Rage of the Ravage plus Searing Grace. So is Elmikkino going to kill the creature or hit face? Well, they're going to hit face. So that knocks Scribble down to 3, and now Scribble's dead to a top deck burn spell. On the other hand, Elmikkino is actually pretty dangerously low too. Because if Elmikkino top deck if they top deck a land, they just animate Rousing Rubble and swing. Although if they top deck a fetch land, then that becomes a lot harder. So Elmikkino's probably going to block themselves just to start attacking with Rousing Rubble and force Scribble to chump with Sarita. So that knocks Elmikkino down to 4 life, and then next turn Scribble plays Madden Inferno, and well, no, they can't swing with Madden Inferno because that dies to Rousing Rubble. They probably play down the Hungering Cult eventually, just as blockers. Well, either way, the play for Elmikkino is pretty obvious. They just play down Magmatic Torrent untapped, pay 2 life, fetch, and then swing with Rousing Rubble. And the interesting part is going to be on Scribble, whether or what they play to stop the Rousing Rubble. And since they're at 3 life, they only get to play 3 more spells this game. Or, wait, is Elmikkino not going to swing with Rousing Rubble? No, they're just going to play No Good Gun Pointer. That has to be a mistake, right? And Elmikkino's keeping the land in hand, too. What? I mean, if you're going to play on... Oh, right. Scribble has Valdez coming. Well, no, this doesn't protect against Valdez either. Elmikkino's just dead to Valdez, right? Well, right, I guess the rousing role played also makes them dead to Valdez, so yeah, they lost either ways. Because Valdez comes down as a haster, and then the game's over. So was there a play that saved Elmikkino? I don't think so. If they swung with Rousing Rebel, they were dead to Valdez. If they didn't swing with Rousing Rebel, then yeah, they lost either ways. Valdez comes down and swings in for lethal. Now to think about it, maybe the reason Elmikkino was playing so conservatively was because they were afraid of the Valdez's. Still, though, I feel like Elmikkino not playing the second Rage of the Ravage is still a mistake, and playing down No Good Gun Pointer Adventure while Rage of the Ravage was in play while they had better plays too was also a mistake. But yeah, Elmikkino goes down to 0 life and Scribbl wins the game. A pretty close game though, both times in fact.